Hey, how's it
Hey, how are
going?
you? Nice to see
Nice to
you.
see you too.
Thank you.
So, how did this beautiful garden get started?
Well, my husband and I bought this property 21 years ago, and it was completely run down. And the roof was blowing off, and the rock wall was falling down, and it was full of dead plants and live weeds. It looked like the Addams Family nursery. Look at my beautiful dead flowers. And I didn't have a vision for it, but we brought in a guy who was a nurseryman, and he started renting it from us, and it turned into a nursery, like strictly plants like you would see at Lowe's or Home Depot. And it was more beautiful, but it wasn't magical, other than that nurseries are all magical.
Yeah.
But then he started to not be here very often. He had a full-time job, so he's only here 2 days a week. And I thought, I've got to do something to save the garden, because you only drive up this winding road to a closed place once, right? So I didn't know. I thought I'd bring somebody else in to take over part of it. And every time I went to bring in somebody else, I would hear this voice say, no, you need to do it. And then I'd argue with the voice, no, that's not what I do. And the voice would say, get in the garden. And I'd argue, and then I'd hear, get in the garden. And then one day I heard, your name is Eve, get in the garden. And I figured that was an archetype I could not fight with. And so I took a couple steps toward the garden, and the garden took 1,000 steps towards me. And my mom used to always say, take a step toward God, and God will take 1,000 steps toward you. And that's what happened here. Slowly but surely, things just started coming into place. And I'll show you some of those. It's amazing what's happened. We have now been here 21 years. And I didn't think we would make it 6 months when I started, but I followed the guidance and miracles happened.
Well, it's very beautiful. I love to see how much effort you put into it and love.
Thank you
It's very
so much.
apparent.
Thank you. So the sacred garden is primarily housed within this 10,000 square foot greenhouse, and there's fun things to see up and down every row. So I always encourage people to take their time and look around, because nothing is the same throughout the garden. And we'd also have outside a water lily nursery that's out on that side, and over there on that side, outside of the greenhouse, is the labyrinth, which is a walking meditation and a main feature of the garden. And so we have different areas for people to enjoy in addition to all of the plants and the fun things to see. There's an upper deck where people picnic or play chess or hang out or journal, visit with friends. We raise water plants and fish, and really serve the community in a myriad different ways.
Yeah, it's very peaceful. You can really feel the energy.
I'm so glad, because that's our primary mission, for people to feel the energy of peace. For me, I feel like nature is a portal to the divine, if I risk sounding a little airy-fairy. And I really feel like when people come here into a place of nature and beauty and just breathe, they have an opportunity to feel something, and that awakens their soul. And so, we have a sign up front that says, into the garden I go to lose my mind and find my soul. And I love that, because it's really what happens when you just come and spend some time in nature. So one of my favorite parts of the garden is finding treasures in the community and then putting them up for people to enjoy. And it really upsets people that they're not for sale a lot of the times, because they want to take them with them. But for me, it's about providing something unique and beautiful for the community to enjoy. And so we have all kinds of things that are just really fun and repurposed. I don't know, I'll show you some, but we'll take a watering can like this, and sometimes we'll just put plants in it and repurpose it, because it has holes in the bottom now, or a pair of shoes, and we'll repurpose them into planters. So it's a fun project to just keep finding things that are unique and different to add to the collection. And I'll show you a couple things that we have that are features of the garden. So just in front of us, there's a place we call the Mother Shrine. And this is a very sweet little shrine room that's devoted to the Divine Feminine. And for me, it's really important that people recognize divine as male and female, not one or the other. And in so many religions, it's about the patriarchal Father God. And I like to remind everybody there's a Mother God too. Not separate, but the same. Just the male and female energies of the divine. And so this is the Mother Shrine, and it's very much devoted to the Divine Feminine. And then out here, we have a bunch of different water gardens and water containers. This is an indoor labyrinth, which is an older style one. The pattern dates back 4,000 to 5,000 years. And here we have Jesus and Tara and Kuan Yin over there. And people come to walk the labyrinth, which is a walking meditation, symbolic of taking a pilgrimage. The one outside is a replica of the one in the Chartres Cathedral, which I'll show you a picture of later. And it's embedded in the floor of the Chartres Cathedral in France. And that one dates back 800 years. And people come from all over the world to walk our labyrinths. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
And then over here we have our amazingly beautiful Buddha. He's from Bali and one of the anchors of the peace in the garden in my experience. Between him and Jesus and Tara and Kuan Yin, we've got a pretty good power center over here.
Yes, you could feel it.
And one of the things that disturbs people sometimes is that we have Buddha and Jesus in the same place, or a mother shrine in the same place as Jesus. And I always like to remind them, at least in my opinion, there is not my God and your God. There is God, and your name for God and my name for God. And it's not the different God. And so for me, I love putting them all in the same place because I'm absolutely convinced that they would all get along and as one entity. And they would also expect us to get along. And so I just love having them all here. I kind of enjoy that disturbance for people because I like waking them up to the divine is the divine, not mine and yours.
Yeah, one central energy.
One central energy.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. So out here is where we have our 11th Circuit Labyrinth, which is a larger labyrinth, and it's the one I mentioned that's a replica of the one in the Chartres Cathedral in France. And it's just so beautiful out here. So the labyrinth is not a maze. There's no dead ends and no tricks. It's not designed to cause you to get lost. It's designed to help you get found, if you will. And if you walk in here and you stay between the bricks and never step over the bricks, it'll take you through the entire mandala into the center, where you stay until you feel complete, and then you take the same path back out. And it's symbolic of taking a pilgrimage where the center represents that sacred destination. So you have the journey in, which is a time of setting your intentions and preparation, clearing obstacles. The time in the center, which is where you are giving of your devotion and receiving whatever you need to receive. And the walk back out is for integration of whatever you've gained on the labyrinth. I always like to tell people the most important thing about labyrinth walking, in my experience, is to realize that you're walking to learn about you, not it, and that the language of the labyrinth is metaphor. And when you understand that, everything becomes so significant. Like one of these 180-degree turns becomes like that change in life where something happens and you go, oh, life is different than I thought, or this is a different situation than I thought. Your house burns down, you have a flood, you get married, you get unmarried, you have a child, like a new job, a new community. Like those 180-degree turns are so symbolic of all those life changes. And they are also really powerful. I call them the power of the pivot, power of the 180-degree turn, to remind us that sometimes we're looking at a situation and we think we have a belief about it that's true, but once we hit that reality, we suddenly may see that our perception is different, that we get new information or new experience that causes us to look at the exact same situation differently. Like, how you think something's good and then you find out it's bad. Yeah. Or you think something's bad and you find out it's not so bad, right? Or what it led to in the next turn was something great. And if you hadn't gone through that bad thing, you wouldn't have gotten to that good thing. And so the labyrinth, that just gave me goosebumps. The labyrinth is full of metaphors that are so powerful for people to reflect on. And it's just amazing how many people come here to walk the labyrinth.
I'll definitely be back by.
Okay, good. We do a full moon labyrinth walk every month, so you should definitely come for that, because that includes instruction versus just showing up and walking it, which a lot of people are doing. That's fine. But coming for the instruction along with the beautiful harp serenade that we have takes it over the top. And we do it every month for 30 years. Oh. So we've been doing it for a long time. Yeah. So this is a photograph of the labyrinth in the Chartres Cathedral, and this dates back to about 1200 AD. So it's spectacular because if you consider this is inlaid stone in the floor of the
Oh,
church,
so beautiful.
when you realize that they had to cut the stone, inlay the stone, and put this in this incredibly precision, perfect, beautiful pattern, not to mention in this incredibly perfect precision church, before they had electricity and sandblasters and lasers and all the conveniences that we have now, it's absolutely an incredible work of art. And this is where they believe that the labyrinth was used as a symbolic pilgrimage, as I mentioned outside, because it was part of the spiritual tradition to take a pilgrimage to places like Jerusalem, but the Crusades were going on, and so you could get done in by the war. And so they believed that they built the labyrinth inside the church so people could safely take a symbolic or metaphoric pilgrimage. So it dates back about 800 years, and this is also called an 11 circuit labyrinth. It passes one path, passes 11 times between the outside and the center. The one in the Sacred Garden greenhouse is a 7-circuit labyrinth, so it's a much older style, predates Christianity, and it has one path that passes 7 times between the outside and the center.
Beautiful.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So commanding. Upward when you walk in there that you often won't even see this. And they have chairs on it 6 days a week, so there's only one day a week that you can actually walk the labyrinth in the Chartres Cathedral. And so it's helpful to know what day that is. But I was there, I didn't even know about it, and I was just looking up like, wow, look at the windows, look at the architecture. Never even saw the labyrinth and had to go back to experience it. So this is our beautiful Shanti bird. He's 31 years old. We've had him for 11 years now. And this cage came from Mama's Fish House originally. They used to have a parrot there. But now it's housed here, which I think is the most perfect place for it ever. So up here we have an upper deck area that really serves the community in a lot of different ways. We just did a huge fundraiser to get money to put on a new roof. So it took our shadiest part of the garden and turned it into the sunniest part of the garden. And so we had to play musical plants and move everything all around, but it turned out so beautiful. And then we put up these shade sails to bring in a little more comfort for people and the plants. So we have an area up here. People go, what do you do up here? You know, like, what is it for? It's in addition to the plants, it's a place where people can come and picnic, or they can come and play chess. We have chess and checkers and things like that over there. Dominoes. You know, people come and bring their kids and their friends and their visiting family, and they, you know, sit and talk, or they journal. We have a community journal over here, and years and years and years worth of them, where people just come and write their thoughts, their poems, their artwork, their experience from the garden or their experience from the labyrinth walk, and then they leave it for other people to read, which is really a fun thing. So we have all these different elements up here, and people just come and enjoy. And it's a place where I've found people come to grieve, they come to journal, they come to do artwork, they bring their instruments and they play. It's really just an offering to the community for people to use this beautiful space how they see fit. And one of my personal missions for the garden is to have a safe place in nature where, especially women, because it's so rare for women to experience safety in nature, but for anyone, men, children, elders, because what I find is if I go to the beach or I go for a walk, I tell somebody where I'm going and I look around and I assess who's walking past me, which is a shame. I don't think most men have to do that, but women definitely do. And so I love having a place where you can go and sit under a tree or walk a labyrinth, sit behind the stream, sit in nature, close your eyes, meditate, feel, breathe, without having to go like this the whole time, because it really lets you drop in when you don't have to put your protective guard up all the time. So
yeah, it's
that's
very
what we
special.
provide here.
You can feel the security, the energy, the peace. You can feel it.
This is good.
Yes, yes.
This is our mission.
Yes.
Beautiful. So this part of the garden is not open to the public generally, but it's one of my favorite spots. It's where I propagate water lilies and water plants. And so all of these buckets have different kind of water plants in them. And what you find when you get into water plants is everything that holds water becomes a coveted option. So you'll see them all over the place. But these have worked out really well. And what I do with these is I get the babies and I grow them until they're just a little bit bigger so that people can take them home. And so we have different stages of plants out here. Some of them need to be divided and some of them need to be propagated, and some are mine that I just use as mother plants, but they're just so much fun. I love them. And one of the things that I like to share in my water lily class, which I do monthly, because what I found is that people love container gardens and they love water lilies, but they don't know anything about them. And if you don't know certain things, they're not going to thrive. And so one of the things I also teach people is the difference between a water lily and a lotus. Because so often people come in and go, I want a lotus, I want a lotus. And most of the time they don't really want a lotus because lotuses only bloom once a year generally. And the water lilies will stay blooming all year round most of the time. So you can tell the difference because a lily has a slit in the leaf like that. All of these are lilies, they have a slit in the leaf. See this? They all have a slit in the leaf. Whereas this is a lotus. And those are lotus over there. These small ones are lotus. So these are the ones that get confused because they're the same size. But this is completely round with no slit. And one of my favorite things about lotus petals, did you ever play with mercury when you were a kid? Probably by the time you were a kid, they knew that you shouldn't do it. But when I was a kid, we played with mercury. This is what it like just puddles up and it repels water, and it's just so fun to play with. Boom! So these are lotus, and this one's about to bloom, so I'm very excited about that. So these are my different baby water plants. We do a class monthly, as I was saying, and really just try to educate people about the maintenance and how to keep the water clear, and what the pests are and how to deal with them and how to repot them, and how to what kind of soil they like and what kind of fertilizer they like and those kinds of things. So there's a lot to know actually, but then they're just super satisfying and fun to have.
So we would love to attend the class. Is there anything about it that we would need to know?
Right, well, so it's a 2-hour class. We do it once a month, and it's on our website. So the next one is next week, but if I give you the date, that will change. So if you look on our website under events and classes, you'll see the schedule, and you can sign up. In addition to our water lily classes, we're now offering succulent arrangement classes, and they're once a month also. We're just starting one up next week. But we also are offering both classes as a private party option. Like, so if somebody wants to do a birthday party that's unique and come make their own succulent arrangement for a birthday party, we can do that. And so it's really a fun new offering that we're doing at the garden. So water lily classes, and we're doing succulent classes, and we're also now doing farm tours that include walking around the garden. There's a garden portion of it. But what people don't know is that there's 8.5 acres at the Sacred Garden, but we only have the greenhouse and the labyrinth open to the public. Mm-hmm. So I call the tour the secret garden part of the tour, secret garden part of the Sacred Garden, so that people can see all the other things we have going on here, different farming and diversified farming that we have going on, including amazing jungle, and when the stream is flowing, spectacular stream views as well. So we have a lot of different flowers growing here, fruits. I'm growing kabocha squash and selling them to a local restaurant. We've got a lot of fun things going on.
All right, that sounds so much fun. I would love to sign up for one of the tours of the Secret Garden.
Great, let's do it.
This is so wonderful for the community. We really appreciate what you're doing here.
Thank you so much. It's been really fun to watch it be used. You know, like I like to say, when you're on a pilgrimage, you go to the sacred place and leave, but here at the Sacred Garden, we get to stay at the place of pilgrimage and watch the pilgrims come and go every day. And we're here free 7 days a week from 9 to 5, and people come all day long. I mean, we have somewhere close to 2,000 people a month come through, and I did the statistics on it because we tally everybody up every day, that we are about 45% local and 55% tourists. So I feel like we're almost at that 50-50 mark where we're really supporting the local community on a daily basis as well. So it's just a beautiful place for people to come and breathe. Whether they have 5 minutes or 2 hours, it's a beautiful spot for everybody.
Thank you so much for providing this. It's a very special place.